Hi everyone, I'm the plant propagator and welcome to my channel. Well, today I had a plan for what I wanted to do today. And I'm in the laboratory here in Southwest Florida, and I'm running a little bit low on my media, my orchid flasking media. So my first thing that I wanted to do was make media, and I found out, I actually knew this, that I had some stock solutions that I needed to remake. I don't use a defined formula. I use my own recipe, and I use the chemicals and different stock solutions, and I make up my own custom formulation. So I needed to remake some of my salt stocks up again. I got through the first salt stock just fine, everything was good. I got most of the way through the second salt stock, and I was looking for molybdic acid or sodium molybdate, and I'm looking around through the chemicals that I have here that I bought. The laboratory itself has some chemicals, and I don't have any of that. And I checked my orders status, the chemicals that I ordered, and I haven't ordered any for this location. So then I searched, I scoured the laboratory here, and they have pretty good records on what should be on the shelves here, and I found where the sodium molybdate should have been, but no sodium molybdate. So I was off to such a great start, and I had to screech to a halt and order some more sodium molybdate. So I got stuck. And you know, a lot of what I do here, it's based on, I have to do things. I come in, I have a sequence of events I'm trying to complete and move from A to B to C to D, and I was almost through A, and I realized I couldn't finish the step. I had 3 salt stocks to make, so I did make up after I skipped the second salt stock. I did make the third salt stock, and I left the second one it was missing, all I needed was 10 milligrams of sodium molybdate, and which is a small amount, and I couldn't find it, so I had to get a jar. I think there's 100 grams in a jar, which is what, 10,000 more times the amount that I needed for the salt stock. But at this facility, there's no other chemistry labs here. I can't find it anywhere else. It's just going to be here, and that's it. And might have been me, but I don't think so. Took the sodium molybdate and used it and didn't put it back, or I would be amazed if they used it all. Anyway, so I got stuck. So I ordered some, it'll be here, but in the meantime, what am I going to do? So I went through the laboratory and started doing things. My technician came in today, and she did a lot of replating of the orchids. But one of the things that I did today is I organized the grow tent. So now I have, and I'll show you this in a second, I have lights in the grow tent. Everything's up and running, everything looks good. And what I did is I had some other deflasked orchids that I was growing in the regular culture room. That's low intensity LED lights. And it's been in there for a while, so I decided to move them up to the high intensity lights. I've been kind of gradually moving into the grow tent. I just didn't want to risk, if it didn't work, it was too bright, if conditions weren't right, if the lights made it too hot. I wanted to make sure that everything was okay before I moved into it. But today was kind of a kind of a screwed up day, so I decided to make the leap and put a lot of stuff in there. So what I have, and I'll show it to you in a little bit, is I've got now a few trays of deflasked orchids in the grow tent. They're still covered because I don't really trust the humidity in there. The lights are pretty bright, but not even close to sunlight. I think maybe probably 30%, maybe 40 or 50% sunlight at the most, but I don't even know if it's that much. But what happened is I had my technician that came in and did some transfers. I did have a little bit of media left over, So she did some replating, and she transferred some embryos from one plate to the other, and then I wanted to show her what the things in the grow tent look like. And then her job also this week was to remove the water from the tubs that the orchids are growing in and replace it with fresh water. And then I also had her do some mycorrhizal inoculation of some more recently deflasked orchids, because that has become the standard protocol for me. But when she was looking at the orchids that I've had growing in there for about 3 weeks, she said, "I'm bringing mine back." And it's like, wait a minute, what? So as part of the payment for working with me, she takes some orchids home with her. It's only fair. She deserves them all. She does so much work. But she took some home, and she took some nice ones home with her. But she knows what the ones at home look like, and she compared those to the ones that are still in the grow tent. And the ones in the grow tent, even after only, I think it's been 3 weeks, I don't even think it's been a month, she says the ones in the grow tent look way better than hers. So she's going to bring hers back in. Now, I'm not sure I want that, depending on if there's any insects or anything that's associated with it. These guys are really clean. And we'll see how her plants look. But I thought when I set up the grow tent that it would work out well. And I've been watching it, constantly to see how the plants are doing, and they look like they're doing pretty good, but I have nothing to compare it to, because I have some that I brought home myself, and those look okay, and I think the ones here look better than the ones that I brought home, but I wasn't sure. But today my tech convinced me that the grow tent is really a lot better for the early growth. Before I transition outside, it's good for that early growth. So what I want to do is show you what these plants look like, and you can decide for yourself if you think that these plants look good, at least as good as I think they look, and as good as my technician thinks they look. Okay, so let me get behind the camera, and we'll take a look at the grow tent overall and some of the plants in the tubs in the grow tent. Okay, and we're back. So this is my grow tent situation, and I don't know if you're familiar with these, but these are just fabric cubes they got reflective material inside, but they're set up so that you can put humidifying equipment in here. You can do a number of things with it. This one happens to have a little shelf with a tray for holding these things. I have a colleague has this grow tent right here, and they're just sitting in the room. This one, I think, is 6 by 6 by, and then I think it's probably 7 feet high. But I've seen people that put shelves in there and do things, but it's just and they're fairly economical, and it's just a nice kind of way to isolate and grow if you have the space to place one of these, but you may not have quite the environmental conditions that you want. You can get really high humidity in here. If you look at the top of this thing, there are outlets for hooking up different lines up here. There's just I think it's like a 1x1 metal frame that supports this all the way up. It's got support pieces on the ceiling. And then the frame that holds the tub is also 1x1. And there's a tub that doesn't really take advantage of the space, so you lose some space around the outside. I wish this was a little bit bigger. Anyway, it just so happened this is what was ordered, and this is what was given to me, and I'm happy to have it because I didn't have to pay anything for it. But they're not that expensive. Okay, so the lights that are in here, these are these Sansi lights, and I've shared these with you in the past. I started out with one light on just one tub, and then I think maybe a couple of weeks ago I put a second light and plugged it in and then I had two tubs in here, and now I have 4 lights Only 3 of them, if you can tell, only 3 of them are on. The 4th one right in the middle here is not on yet. I wanted to gradually step up and do 1 light at a time to see to see how hot it would get in this chamber. Right now, the tops of these tubs are on. It looks like it's bright, but you're not getting overheating in any of these tubs, so they seem to be okay. And I don't think I'm having any overheating issues because of the distance that I put these away. These lights, again, these are LED lights. They tend to be, because they're LED, they don't generate that much heat, but they are high intensity, so they do generate a little bit of heat. They have the sinks, the heat sinks on the top that where the heat is removed for these, because they do, I mean, they're high intensity, but they're LEDs themselves. So there's a lot of LEDs that are packed into these little lights, and they do put out a lot of light. But I do like these situations. They're dimmable, but I've got them up at the highest speed. If you take a look on how I plug them in, so I have a multi-strip surge protector outlet, and all of them are plugged into that, and then this is all under control of a timer, a heavy-duty timer that is outside the unit, and it's set up for 16-hour days. All right, so what I have done is I've got some of these tubs that have the tops that are clamped down. Some are not, and the newer ones that were in here, I'm going to make sure that the tops are clamped down tight, like on here. On this tub, the top is not clamped on, and I'm going to go ahead and clamp that on. There was a little bit of drying when I only had 2 tubs in here last week. So it was fine, but they might have dried a little bit. And now I have more tubs. There's a lot more water, and I actually put, I don't know if you can see on the bottom, I put a couple of tubs down here and put some water, maybe a couple liters, a half gallon of water in each tub, just to try to keep the humidity up. I probably could put some water in this basin right here and maintain the high humidity that way, but I just wanted to kind of keep things separate. Now these tubs, you can tell there's a lot of condensation in there. There is some humidity, and there may be some water loss, and I just got to make sure that there isn't too much after every week. So, but these plants, just to take a look at them, I want to take a close look at a few of them. So these are, and these haven't been in here. These are ones that I've just put in here. But these are some Encyclia tampensis, and this was from an experiment that I did. I'm not sure where the matching one is. An experiment that I did where I had one that was inoculated with mycorrhizae, and then another tray that was non-inoculated. And I think this is the uninoculated samples right here. So I'd like to, I'm going to keep them together just so they have similar type of treatments. But these aren't not showing any effects from the light because they just got put in here. And again, what I have is a tub over here that is not getting very much light, just because I don't want to turn on all 4 of these lights until I'm sure that the temperature is consistent and controlled with 3 of the lights on. But what I want to do is I need to turn the camera off and position the 2 tubs that have been here the longest, so I can show you what the growth looks like of the plants that are in those tubs. So I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back, but I'm not ready to show you what I meant to show you. We're getting sidetracked as happens. So these are the 2 bins of Encyclia tampensis. This is the one that was not treated, is one that I showed you that was not treated with a mycorrhizae inoculant, and that was probably, I think probably a couple of months ago. So this is the untreated tray, and then over here, and they are next to each other, is the heated tray, the treated tray. So you can take a look, and I showed this to you previously, so you can take a look. And what I do is I focus on the root growth. You can take a look at the roots on these seedlings that were treated, and then compare that, and I'm going to go over to the one on the left, and these are the untreated, the ones that just got that were watered and fertilized and treated the same way, except they didn't receive a mycorrhizal treatment. So the plants themselves, when you look at the plants themselves at lower power, it's kind of hard to see a huge amount of difference. But then when you look at, and so this is again the treated, and maybe it's a little better, treated and the untreated, but as far as the root growth, in the treated, you can see the incredible amount of root growth that's here on most of these plants. And there's some of these have nice root growth over here. But when you take a look at the overall, the mycorrhizal treated seedlings just look a whole lot better. All right, so now the ones that I want to show you are in the back. So now I'm going to pull these up front and we'll take a look at those. But I got to shut the camera off to get things positioned, so I'll be right back. Okay, and now we're back. So these are the trays that have been out here the longest. The one on the right has been out here the longer of both of these, and the one on the left was added about a week later. But what you can see, so as we take a look at these seedlings, so this one has only been out here for a couple of weeks, and or maybe 3 weeks. Yeah, maybe 3 weeks. But what you can see on here, and I'm just shocked because I like looking at you know, root growth, but also new pseudobulb growth. So you know, in the middle there, that's a new pseudobulb growing out of that. There is, I think, a pseudobulb growing out of the back of this plant. Might not be anything going on there, but you follow the next one over, and I'm not sure if it's focusing on the right things. New pseudobulb there. Let me turn these things sideways so we don't have to see the tags that much. But then as we move along, you can see, you know, this one right in the middle is a new growth. Moving on, there's some new growth that it's on the back. Yeah, that one right there, right in the middle. This one right here, that is a new, and it's kind of, when you look at this, it's kind of like hard to believe that it's only been out, that these things have only been in here for a few weeks. But you can see, I mean, you know, look at, I just pulled away, but you know, that's a lot of growth going on, you know, coming out of this plant. Yeah, look at that one. So that in the middle, that's new growth coming out. So I think this is phenomenal. This is the flat that's been out here for the longest, and I mean, I'm struck by. I think this is really cool. Look at the coloration in this leaf. And again, one of my new hybrids. This tends to be a really strong and vigorous grower, but we've got that coloration there in the leaves. But look at these, I mean, these plants just look phenomenal, and they're big. They got big. All right, we can take a look at it sideways. So these are the ones that my technician looked at, and she said, I am bringing mine back in, even the ones that aren't big. Look at that, look at the new growth coming out of the base of that plant. But these are really striking. So in the middle there, new pseudobulb growing out there, and I don't know if it's the middle or the back of that one, new growth coming out. But really phenomenal growth on these plants, and some of the plants are just big. You can't see in this one. Yeah, maybe you can right there in the back. There's a new pseudobulb growing out of that one. But just really nice looking plants. I love the color in the leaf on this plant. And some of these, again, just to give you an idea, these have been, I actually have the deflasked date on these, and I think, yeah, these were deflasked. Both of these were deflasked on 10/17. So that is 4 months ago. These were deflasked, and I think that is really pretty remarkable growth for 4 months ago, and I think what's going to be more interesting is to see how these things do under these controlled conditions. It is a little bit warmer in there. Maybe they like it warm. It is still high humidity, and I've seen that these things do like high humidity, but it's a combination of, you know, high humidity, just I think it's the perfect amount of light, and these things just take off. I have not dealt with any kind of, and I'm dreading this, things are going to happen, so I'm dreading if I ever get any insect issues in here, because if I do, I'm in deep trouble, and fungus issues as well. If I get any kind of introduction, you know, it's a clean environment in here, but if I have any issues like that, I'm in trouble. But you know, I'll see them hopefully early enough and be able to get rid of them. And I do go out and, you know, play with my orchids often before coming in. I just hope that I can keep them out as long as I can. But I got a lot of tubs in here, and I'm excited to see how these go, and I'll keep you updated. But because I ran out of sodium molybdate, or couldn't find it, I couldn't find it, someone took it, I decided to kind of shift my effort today, and from the media making to the grow tent, and I just wanted to share this with you. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did and you want to keep on seeing them, it would help me out if you can click on like, share, and subscribe to my channel if you're not already a subscriber. All right, that's all I have for you again today. I hope you enjoyed it, and happy propagating.